Salamatang looking to heavily overfarm in case the opponent inevitably switch out. Speaking of which, out comes Galarian Moltres. Jarable still lands for heavy neutral damage, and here comes Zweilous. Zweilous going to look to overfarm, fire off the body slam, removing Moltres from the field of play. Having residual energy and remaining almost full health, the opponent sends out Annihilate. Zweilous looking to commit to the Dark Pulse, and we are full sending. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. My name is Jamie Finn1415, and for those of you that are new around here, I was the first documented trainer in the world to reach Legend only using Shadow Pokemon. That was way back in Season 8. I then did it 6 seasons consecutively. Every single battle, every single match, there was nothing but Shadow Pokemon used. So it's safe to say, I know a thing or two when it comes to using Shadow Pokemon. Whenever we have a Team Rocket takeover event in the world of Pokemon Go, much like we've got currently. So on that note, don't forget to remove frustration. We get a new batch of Shadow Pokemon, and I look to test out every single one in the Go Battle League. Being a very small YouTube channel, this definitely is not my full-time job. It's safe to say this channel earns what I can call pocket money at best. I'm never going to be the first to put any of these videos out. However, on this channel, unlike a lot of other channels, you're not going to see any nonsense practice battles of me trying to push the video out first, or worried about losing Elo. I personally do not care. Another thing you won't see on my channel is me trying to pad out the new Shadow with two very bulky, boring meta threats. It's going to be running a full Shadow team where it's expected to carry its weight. Now the housekeeping's out the way, today we turn our attention to Zweilous, and I think right off the bat, Zweilous has a lot of things going for it. Firstly, depending on your IV, it's got a stat product around 1850 to 1900 that is very similar to other Pokemon that we see in Shadow form that have a lot of play. Stuff like Sableye, Drapion, Galarian Weezing, and even Dusknoir all fall into this bracket. So what that means is it's a Shadow Pokemon that has a reasonable bulk where you don't have to shield every single charge move. If we got Zweilous last season, I think right off the bat it would struggle, due to pacing, or lack of I should say. Body Slam used to be 12 Dragon Breaths, which is horrendously slow. However, Dragon Breath has been reworked into a Psywave clone, and you're now getting to that Body Slam that's also been buffed this season in just 9 turns. Its pacing in general is actually just fantastic. Only 13 turns now to that Dark Pulse. That is such a hard-hitting stab move on a Pokemon like Zweilous. It is a very good nuke indeed. Right off the bat, I was very impressed with this Pokemon. I was able to go on a very impressive 21-9 run, gaining over 200 Elo in a single day. I was able to go on a 5-0 and pick up numerous 4-1s. However, rather than showcase just all the wins, we're actually going to include numerous losses. I think a lot of the losses were winnable. So if you want to use this team, do as I say and not as I do, and you're going to have even more success than I did. With all that being said, without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we lead Salamatang into Greninja, so of course today's team is a standard ABB team where I'm double weak to Fairy in the back. Sableye will be the designated safe switch. However, in this matchup specifically, I'm going to catch on Zweilous, because Zweilous can tank whatever they throw reasonably well, unlike Sableye. Right off the bat, we get a great example why you shouldn't safe switch something with a double weakness. If the opponent's got a Fairy, you're going to get deleted in the blink of an eye, just 2 charms, removed all of my HP. However, to be honest, I still like the position I'm in. We've baited out the Fairy type, so hopefully Sableye should be in a prime position to sweep. We tank the Psyshock, double resisted, overfarm, fire off the Gyro Ball, removing that pesky Fairy from the field of play. Greninja already severely chipped. It re-enters the arena, and I'm going to look to either force a shield or pick up a knockout with a Gyro Ball. Gyro Ball forces the opponent's first protection, and the Fury Cutters alone have got this thing deep into the red health. With the Fairy already baited out, we're going to trust in a 2-shielded Sableye to carry me home. The opponent recognises Greninja isn't reaching another move and pivot out into Drapion. The opponent makes a massive mistake here, throwing the Aqua Tail instantly, and despite having 2 shields, we are not shielding that, as I'm not really in danger of getting fast move beat down by either Poison Sting or Water Shrieking. The opponent only with 1 Protect Shield to hide behind. We full send the Gleam, nuking them through the Protect Shield, and this game is signed, sealed and delivered. Sableye going to be able to Shadow Claw farm down the remainder of the team, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see a fantastic lead Matang a complete wall to Cresselia, regardless of their moveset, even if they've got the world's shittest move Aurora Beam that is also resisted. Usually you're going to see Moonblast and Grass Knot, or potentially Future Sight. Future Sight double resisted and the other 2 are single resisted. Matang dominant in this matchup. We land the first Gyro Ball, I'm then going to farm up, throw the next Gyro Ball on CMP, looking to move Cresselia from the field of play and maintain as much health as possible. To my surprise, the opponent invests to protect you. Whatever they throw isn't going to do too much damage, but as I'm on an ABB team, I'm going to tank the damage, then make the pivot into Sableye. Ends up being a simultaneous swap, and you can kind of see why the opponent was shielding Cresselia, as Mark also horrendous into Matang, as the poison jabs would be double resisted. After landing the Dazzling Gleam here, I could go for the one shield and farm down. However, Zweilous got very little screen time in battle number 1, so I'm more than content to sacrifice Sableye and give Zweilous its well-deserved screen time. The resisted foul play removes them from the field of play, and out comes Rapidash. If I would have shielded Sableye, this game would already be signed, sealed and delivered. However, to be honest, we're still in a commander position. I'm going to send up Matang, await for the opponent to try to make the catch. There is said catch attempt, unsuccessful. We send out Zweilous, Dragon Breath farm down Cresselia's remaining HP. I don't really need to shield this move, we're just in a completely one position. If the opponent tank this body slam, they're just going to get fast move beat down. If they shield, we've got the Gyro Ball banked. And what's even more unfortunate for the opponent, they still have to full send a Mega Horn, high horsepower, some kind of big move, as body slam simply isn't going to cut it. Zweilous shrugs off the damage, reaches yet another body slam, and in a weird turn of events, Zweilous is a Rapidash counter confirmed. You heard it here first. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see Matang into Mandibars. Most Mandibars do opt for Air Slash, and if they're on Air Slash, Matang actually wins that matchup. However, this one is the Snarl variant. We bank some energy, pivot into Sableye, and look to check for any potential Fairy type. The opponent remains on my screen, and we're actually able to reach this Dazzling Gleam on the charge attack priority. Dazzling Gleam's able to land. As they've stayed in here, I'm fairly confident they don't have a Fairy. We tank the Dark Pulse. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite knock me out, giving them one additional Snarl. I've already got energy banked on my Matang. I'm going to send out Zweilous and once again look to start loading up on energy. I could have thrown the Body Slam on CMP, winning CMP and removing Mandibars from the field of play, but instead I'm just going to go for the one shield, a Dragon Breath farm down, getting energy and remaining very healthy. And I'm actually glad I shielded an Aerial Ace, despite not hitting that hard. Clearly the opponent has no response, as out comes more Morpeko. Oh my days, that Body Slam did a lot. Whatever they throw is resisted. The opponent go for the Psychic Fangs bait. That is double resisted. The opponent then pivots out into Claydol. I'm going to reset the debuff and send out Matang. This matchup's nowhere near as bad as you might think. While the Mod Slaps are hitting for super effective, as are our Fury Cutters. I also banked energy earlier, meaning we're able to spam these Gyro Balls at a very alarming rate. The first one forced the opponent's first Protect Shield, the opponent 2 shield Claydol. We banked the Dark Pulse. Claydol might have energy bank, but we're able to win the charge attack priority. Dark Pulse removes Claydol from the field of play. Back out comes Morpeko. We reach another Body Slam, and Zweilous is going to be on cleanup duty. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle. Oh boy. So if you are going to run this team, which I do recommend, there is one huge core breaker, and its name is Pawniard. Pawniard has the ability to be all 3 Pokemon, but the issue is his typing might be fantastic, but it is one very glassy Pokemon. I bank the energy, make the catch onto Sableye. Sableye is rank 1 in my case and able to survive a Dark Pulse, and still got off a Dazzling Gleam, either landing big damage or forcing the first Protect Shield of the game. We're able to get this Mandibars down to around the 3rd health. They've certainly found themselves in Gyro Ball range. However, I'm actually going to bank the energy there and send out Zweilous and look to start loading up on energy. Again, I'm going to shield up the Aerial Ace to actually throw the Dark Pulse. And the reason I've shielded there is I need to maintain health for when Pawniard re-enters the arena. These Fury Cutters are going to start tearing through my HP. You can see we're getting eaten alive. I once again farm up, bank the energy, this time making the catch back onto Matang, doing anything I can to get myself back in this battle. Psyshock is double resisted, but they're certainly in Psyshock range. Psyshock removes Pawniard from the field of play. And of course, his Claydol in the back. I commit to the Gyro Ball, unfortunately unable to get there, and this game is essentially over. My only win con is somehow landing a Dark Pulse through 2 Protect Shields. That is the win con we are going to go for. I think this is always going shielded. The opponent isn't likely to look to shield flex on me. Unfortunately, the Dark Pulse does get shielded. We're able to reach yet another Dark Pulse, force the opponent's final Protect Shield, but this one is going to end in heartbreaking defeat. GG's to that opponent. On the plus side, we was able to at least force both protections of the opponent, giving me a small moral victory. Heading into the next battle, we see Shadow Machamp in the lead position. A terrifying Pokemon. This thing is lightning faster than Cross Chops, and Shadow Machamp makes Cross Chop look like a very hard hitting move. Cross Chop removes a large chunk of my HP. I'm going to overfarm, fire off the side shot. I anticipate this going shielded, so I'm going to force a shield and then look to catch the next Cross Chop onto Sableye. The opponent actually completely sacrificed their Machamp and then pivot out into their own Sableye. I recognise I'm going to get farmed down, so I make the pivot into my own Sableye. The opponent farms to 7. It could be a Dazzling Gleam. They just throw the foul play, which is fine. We may as well use a shield. I'm going to farm to the Gleam, do exactly what they did, and bait with a foul play. This can only be a foul play. And despite me being a shadow, foul play simply not going to cut it. We look to reach the next foul play, but the opponent actually makes a catch. Saving Sableye, but this catch definitely works for me as that does a huge chunk of damage to their Cresselia. Despite the confusions being double resisted, it looks like my Sableye would have got fast move beat down, so make the pivot back into Matang, which might be low on health, but still going to put in loads of work here, able to force the opponent's final protection and leave Cresselia deep into the red health. I need to wait out my timer here before sending in Zweilous. Of course, I'm going to have to respect the Moonblast, and potentially we can stall out the timer long enough. If they reach another Moonblast, I can catch back onto Sableye. The opponent unable to reach another Moonblast. We Dragon Breath farm down, leaving close to the Dark Pulse. Sableye re-enters the arena, but it's going to be straight in and straight out as we're able to take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Morpeko in the lead position. Actually a nice lead for Matang. Look at the Fury Cutter damage go. I'm going to respect this move. I think you'd be a mad lad to throw a Psychic Fangs. It's double resisted, but what do I know? The opponent bait me like a savage. Oh, that's nasty. Then say switch into a Greninja. I get off a heap of Fury Cutter damage, bank my energy, and make the Night Slash catch onto Zweilous, where Zweilous is a complete wall to this thing. Hydro Cannon would hit harder, and to be honest, a resisted Hydro Cannon doesn't look all that resisted. It gets me deep into the red health. We are going to fire off the Body Slam. Potentially could have farmed down. However, like this, I know if Morpeko re-enters the arena, Zweilous is still going to put in work. Back out comes Morpeko, the Dragon Breath tearing through the HP. We reach the Body Slam. Body Slam forced to protect the opponent, looking for that Thunder Shot farm down, but at what cost? This Morpeko is on fractional HP. The golden rule with baiting is bait me once, shame on you. Bait me twice, shame on me. Trainer, I am not shielding two Psychic Fangs that are double resisted in the same battle. This could be an Aura Wheel, which we will respect, and thankfully we get both shield cores right in this endgame scenario. Out comes Mandibars, usually with an energy lead. I'll be more than content to stay in, but we are debuffed from the Psychic Fangs. So I'm going to throw the Gleam, force the final protect shield, all land big damage before pivoting back out into Matang with all that loaded energy. Matang rips off the first Gyro Ball, decent damage. Matang should be able to tank one move. I was actually looking to force him to throw a Dark Pulse if they've got it. So I can outpace with Sableye. It's just a foul play. And that means that Matang is going to close the show. The next Gyro Ball rocks the opponent into the red health range. The opponent going to be unable to air slash farm me down. They find themselves in a range where a double resisted move's actually going to be lethal. And we take that game. Judging by the huge amount of lag, much to my opponent's dismay. GG's to him regardless. In the next battle, we see Malamar in the lead position. Fantastic for me. My Fury Cutters are double super effective. The opponent save switch into a Snarl Mandibars. I bank a boatload of energy before sending out Zweilous. Switch advantage is not important for me whatsoever. All three team members today double resist Psychic, meaning the sideways that are usually quite oppressive are going to be double resisted, doing no damage to any team member. Mandibars is hella bulky, arguably the most bulky eligible Pokemon for the Willpower meta, but you can still see Zweilous, the combination of Dragon Breath and Body Slam is chunking through the HP. I throw the next Body Slam on the CMP side and actually able to force protect shield here in the mid game matchup. I'm more than content with my shield advantage. I can just send back out Matang. Once again, load up on energy before looking to knock him out with a Gyro Ball. I unleash this Gyro Ball close to 100 energy, ensuring I've got residual energy good to go. The opponent sends out Claydol. We pivot into Sableye, baiting Malamar back into the arena, but Sableye looking primed to sweep. We've got two shields. I'm going to shield this foul play. Value in health because the Mod Slaps will chunk. The opponent only with one shield, so I'm thinking, where are they going to use it? I call, they're going to save it for Claydol, so you see me go for an undercharge. And with that undercharge, this game is signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm going to shield up the incoming foul play. Shadow Claw farm down the remaining HP. Claydol with a shield to hide behind is not going to be around for long. One Shadow Claw and the first foul play for optimal fast move timing. That forces the opponent's final protect shield. One further Shadow Claw and the next foul play's reach. Foul play gets the opponent below half health. We give the opponent that wham, bam, combo play. Serve them up the Big Mac and the fries in order. Gyro Ball them to the face and take that game. Heading into the next battle, Matang into Claydol. I saw Dan Ottawa post Matang earlier and say it's well overhyped. He was staining against Claydol when he was ABB weak to Fairy, much like me. Top tip, pivot out of that matchup. Speaking of which, there's the Hail Mary the opponent fucked about. They found out. Where was I? Yes, pivot out of that matchup. Because even if you lose switch, you can farm something down and then start unleashing Gyro Balls onto Claydol. And with an energy lead, that matchup isn't anywhere near as bad as it is in even energy. To get the most out of Matang, you've got to be super aggressive, jump in and out of matchups. Here you're going to see me send out Zweilous, catch back onto Matang because they're so severely chipped. They're just going to get Fury Cutter farm down if they remain on my screen. The opponent stays in. I've got 2 shields, I may as well respect a potential Scorching Sand. They actually full send an Earth Power, perhaps low on TMs. We fully Fury Cut a farm down. We do lead debuff, but out comes Rapidash. Even at -1, Rapidash, hella glassy, the first Gyro Ball, forces the opponent's final protection. Matang able to reach yet another Gyro Ball. Gyro Ball, almost a one-hit KO, one further Fury Cutter, and we take that game. GG's to that opponent. Honestly, I'm kind of offended by the amount of content creators that bash Matang. I not only had fantastic success in the Willpower Cup, in the Open Great League too. In the next battle, we see another Pawnyard in the lead position. I thought about catching out, but I think I need to make an adjustment. Last time I caught out of this matchup, we ended up losing, so instead, we tanked the Night Slash, forced protection with a Gyro Ball before sending out Sableye. Hopefully now we've got a shield advantage, we can make something happen. The opponent sends out Rapidash and goes straight for a body slam. Trainer, that is double resisted, goes double resist normal, and that is the easiest no shield decision of my life. The opponent all down 1 protect shield, unwilling to shield the foul play. Sableye able to Shadow Claw farm down, unfortunately. Missing out on the foul play. If we would have got off that foul play, that would be fantastic. We're still in a tricky spot, to be honest. Matang essentially nothing more than a sacrificial swap. Speaking of which, stay in school, kids, and learn to count and make the catch back onto Matang, giving ourselves a fighting chance. I send back out Zweilous, but the opponent returns the favour, making the catch back onto Claydol. Oh, I'm so mad at this battle. If I would have held my energy, we had a very good chance of winning this battle, but unfortunately, it isn't meant to be. Catch for catch, you've got to respect it. The opponent played very well, and I'll gracefully take defeat. But as I said there, if I would have held my energy, that is a very winnable game, despite seeing a huge core breaker. Heading into the next battle, we see Claydol in the lead position. We say switch into Sableye, baiting out Moltres. Here, 2 choices for my opponent. Shield or get knocked out. The opponent gives me that shield, and that is great. We've obtained a shield advantage, which is exactly what I always look to do in a mid-game matchup. In a mid-game, you're always looking to get some kind of advantage. Switch, shield advantage, and energy lead. Here we're going to take that shield advantage. Most Moltres don't carry paybacks. We should be a complete wall to the energy. Well, we wall the charge moves anyway. Unfortunately, you can't shield quick moves, and these sucker punches are doing a number on my HP. We fire for Gyro Ball, removing them from the field of play, pivot into Zweilous. The opponent stays in, of course, looking to inevitably debuff my attack. We've got 2 shields. We shield up the Rock Tomb. The opponent continues to stay in. We're in the 1-to-1 shield. I am not baiting. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Down goes Claydol. The opponent sends out Murkrow. Unfortunately, timer isn't quite up. I'd love to reset this debuff. We fire off the Body Slam. Murkrow, made of paper, shields the first. The second's able to land, and at this point, I'm going to pivot out, reset that debuff, and save some Dragon Breath damage. We send out Matang. Matang able to Fury Cut a farm down, and we take that game. You see all too commonly people moan about the algorithm. They hard lose lead, lose switch advantage, and complain they're going to lose the battle. However, that is a great example that isn't all that important. Shield advantage can often carry you home. In the next battle, we see Drapion in the lead position. I'm not entirely sure why they went straight for an Aqua Tail, but I'm not complaining. Aqua Tail, of course, doesn't do anywhere near as much as super effective Crunch would. Speaking of which, this could be a crunch. I am going to shield Matang, wanting to keep it healthy and around for any potential fairy type. Again, we get baited with the Aqua Tail, which feels bad, man. But we then do make the save switch into Sableye, checking for any fairies that could be lurking in the back. Out comes Mandibuzz. I'm feeling pretty good about the situation, to be honest. Firstly, we've got energy on Matang, and second, it looks like they haven't got a fairy type, meaning Zweilous should at least have play against whatever their third is. It looks like the opponent isn't a fan of our dark or potentially ghost type damage, as they shield up the Dazzling Gleam and then throw the Aerial Ace instantly, looking to knock out my Sableye. I'll wait out my timer, send back out Matang. There's the thing that didn't want to see a second dark type in the form of Claydol. We're in the 1-to-1 shield, and you better believe there is going to be 0 baits on this channel. Claydol, you're getting outpaced to 2 moves. You can pick your poison. We're going to full send the first one. Does the opponent want to invest in Claydol? Yes, they do, but they're still getting outpaced. And here, I am going to throw an alignment, and that is intentional, because I don't want to take that Mud Slap damage. Dark Pulse removes Claydol from the field of play. Back out comes Mandibuzz. We're able to catch the Aerial Ace back onto Matang, keeping energy and health on Zweilous. Aerial Ace doesn't do much of anything. We fire off the first Gyro Ball. Gyro Ball, likewise, not going to do too much. This bloody Vulture has never-ending HP. We commit to the next Gyro Ball. Is this Gyro Ball going to be enough to knock out? Yes, it is. Bang. There it is. A shout out to go Oxford U for that quote. And also get that stupid Vulture off my screen. This meta is so boring. I am bored of seeing your Mandibuzz. Heading into the next battle. We see another thing I'm bored of seeing. PvPoke's #1 ranked pick Claydol. We save switch into Sableye, baiting out My Little Pony, but this is by no means a bad matchup. Our Shadow Claws are hitting for super effective, as are the Fairy Winds. Able to force protection on Trainer. If you body slam bait, you're going to be very sad. Trainer, you're already down 1 protect shield. Are you going to 2 shield to look to maintain that alignment? They are not. Sableye not only gets switched, but shield advantage too. The opponent sends out a shiny Galarian Moltres, a very cool flex, unfortunately unable to reach the Gleam. We do reach the Departing Foul Play, and all chip damage is certainly welcome, potentially putting them in a range where the Fury Cutters plus Gyro Ball will knock out. The opponent sends back out Claydol. I intentionally throw the Gyro Ball here. Unfortunately, my timing was like an absolute potato, but after under the Gyro Ball, I can just go straight body slam in this matchup, and don't even need to commit to a Dark Pulse. You can see the Dragon Breath tearing through their HP. They're definitely in body slam range. I waste no time. Fire off the body slam, able to knock them out, and this thing is just getting fast move beat down. However, we actually do reach a body slam, so I may as well throw it as potential reach a move on Matang too. Body slam forces the shield. I've got one. Trainer, enjoy yourself. Brave Bird me. Fly. Doesn't get the job done. They are able to sucker punch farm me down, but Matang still with the shield to hide behind. They're going to YOLO that Hail Mary Brave Bird, bouncing off the protect shield. We Fury Cut a farm down and take that game. In the next battle, we see Hatterene in the lead position. The opponent save switch into Quillfish. So PvPoke's recommended moveset is Aqua Tail plus Shadow Ball. I attempt to catch a Shadow Ball, essentially crap my pants, and end up shielding up an Aqua Tail. On the off chance, they've got Ice Beam. When they shield at the body slam, I'm thinking, oh crap, I'm going to get Ice Beam to the face. But I'm not going to 2-shield here. Worst case scenario. Sableye isn't that bad into Hatterene, as my Shadow Claws do hit in turn back for super effective. However, the opponent just going straight Aqua Tail in this matchup. So Zweilous able to tank yet another Aqua Tail, reach the body slam, either forcing the final protect shield or maintain an alignment. We're able to maintain alignment, 1 charm, deletes my remaining HP, and we're back where we started. Charm does now generate some energy. However, their charge moves are going to be Power Whip or Psyshock. Psyshock double resisted and Power Whip single resisted. I heavily overfarm, fire off the Gyro Ball, moving them from the field of play. The opponent sends out Claydol on the irony of an opponent running a Charmer, looking to RPS people, and they're the ones that again RPS themselves. Usually at this point in the battle, I'd joke about the opponent wanting me to have a heart attack, as that would essentially be their win con. But unfortunately, to claim the battle pass rewards this season, you do have to finish the battle. So I don't hate it, I respect it. We'll say GG's and move on to the next one. You see a Snarl Mandibuzz in the lead position. The Snarl variant a lot more problematic for the team. If they're on Air Slash, Matang has play, and even Sableye struggles more into this matchup, but they're a lot quicker to the charge moves. It looks like this must be quite an attack-weighted Mandibuzz. Usually survive 2 Dark Pulses, but it looks like this second one would actually knock me out. So I do invest in Protect Shield. I'm going to overfarm before returning fire with the Dazzling Gleam, looking to force big damage or my Protect Shield back. Of course, you always want to commit to the next Dazzling Gleam, so throw a Foul Play just gives the opponent the opportunity to farm up a boatload of energy. Like this, we do force the energy. I'm going to wait out my clock, and now it's time for Zweilous to enter the arena. This Snarl Mandibuzz is providing a problem for me. I'm hoping I can Dragon Breath him into a range. Well, on CMP, a Body Slam knocks out, but you can see the Dragon Breaths really aren't doing much. I think this is absolute cope. Body Slam, it doesn't get the job done. I'm now in a kind of awkward position. I'm going to shield up Zweilous. We've got energy. We've got energy on Matang too, but we've now got no shields to hide behind, and the opponent still has 1. Out comes Annihilate, and it's very unfortunate this isn't a Shadow variant. As the regular tanks with Dark Pulse, really easily I pivot into Matang, and I don't go for the combo play, anticipating them looking to try and make a catch. They do exactly that. Out comes Claydol, the first Gyro Ball, forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We're able to reach the next one on what looks like to be a CMP time. If that's CMP, we might still have a chance here. If we can either fully Dragon Breath farm down this Claydol, or get enough energy together to Body Slam Claydol and Dark Pulse Annihilate, it looks like we're going to need the full farm down. Can we get it? We cannot, unfortunately. And that one does end in defeat. GG's that opponent. So if you watch back, the mistake I made in that battle was the first Gyro Ball I threw at Claydol was that poor timing. If I would have got off a couple of extra Fury Cutters, the farm down would have been possible. So again, that one is on me. I am so bad with one-turn moves, honestly. In the next battle, we did see a Glade in the lead. We're yet to see the quick move. You better believe it's probably Charm. I personally run Psycho Cup. I reckon most people are going to run for tap nonsense Charm. We do invest in Protect Shield, recognising Glade. It's probably going to get knocked out Shadow and Shadow Crime by a Dark Pulse, or give me that shield back. The opponent opt to invest in Protect Shield, and that's fine. If you now find ourselves in the 1-to-1 shield, and we've still got the alignment that we want. I banked energy on my tanks. I'm going to heavily overfarm and look to throw the side shock that is neutral as Psychic resists itself, whereas fighting takes super effective. The opponent invests their final Protect Shield, and I'm starting to think, what the heck could be in the back that you don't want to see Matang? Out comes Mandibars. Unfortunately, once again, the Snarl variant. This could get dicey. We're going to throw the Gyro Ball. We now have to make the pivot into Sableye. They're certainly in a range where a Gleam knocks out. However, if I can just land a foul play and prevent the opponent catching, they're definitely also in Gyro Ball range. So I go for the safe play, throw the foul play. A foul play doesn't do too much, but the next one would be in danger of knocking them out. The opponent doesn't farm up to the double. They're actually 2 Snarls off. So all I've got to do is ensure I see the Snarl animation start, which I do, throw the Gyro Ball, ensure it lands on its intended target. Glade, dump this energy. We're going to be able to outpace to the side shot, and that is going to be all she wrote, with thankfully we're not losing to any nonsense tap charm. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, I see my nemesis, Pawnyard, in the lead position. We've seen 2 and we're yet to beat either. Again, we go for the catch attempt unsuccessful. The opponent does look to dump energy. They actually throw the X's, that of course does hit harder than a Knight's Touch would. The opponent remains on my screen. We throw the foul play goes unshielded. To be honest, I'm very grateful it did, as I just want to get rid of that stupid bloody thing. Out comes Moltres. As I dump my energy, we're only able to reach the foul play, but even a foul play does put me in a range where a Fury Cutter plus Gyro Ball combination should achieve a knockout. As always, if they've got payback, so be it. They just fire off the fly. Potentially a bait, but more than likely they've got Brave Bird as a second move. We land the Gyro Ball, snipe with Zweilous to get a small energy lead. If Pawnyard returns, we could probably Dragon Breath farm it down. They send out Claydol. We haven't baited yet, and once again we're full sended, but I think that's kind of silly, as of course they're going to shield this up. It's the only remaining healthy Pokemon. And at this point I was thinking, oh boy, I'm in danger of just getting fast move beat down. These Mud Slaps tearing through my HP. I'm petrified to make a catch. I do for a suboptimal time move. I wanted to see the Mud Slap start, so we're able to land the Body Slam bait. We then make the catch onto Matang, and I think that is definitely a silly play on my part. However, the opponent gives me a wink on, making an equally silly play. Sending out Pawnyard, which gives me the opportunity to one shield, Dragon Breath farm down, leaving with the Dark Pulse. Numerous mistakes here, there and everywhere for me and my opponent. Well, I don't know, was it a mistake making the catch? I think I was kind of out of ideas, to be honest. Somehow able to get the job done, but definitely not my best battle. Heading into the next one. See Zweilous in the lead position, unfortunately not the Shadow one. I haven't ever seen anyone else run Shadow Zweilous in the battles I run. Callum's ran one, and I'm sure a few other people are, but I'm yet to see one. We currently shield the Dark Pulse. The opponent then pivots out into Air/Mandibars. We've got a heap of energy. We're going to throw 2. If this one forces shield, we'll go Zweilous. If the opponent no shields this, we'll send out Sableye, essentially sacrifice it as Zweilous is still fairly healthy. As we wasn't able to force a shield, we do send out Sableye. I'm aware the opponent's timer would be popping up, so rather than them saving this Mandibars, we opt for the foul play and just knock it out. The opponent then sends out Drapion. Here we're just going to go straight foul play. A Shadow and Shadow Crime, even resisted foul play, does like 45%. We're actually able to force a Protect Shield back, and the opponent is going to have to dump energy. They actually make the catch onto Zweilous, and this works for me, as any chip damage is welcome. Puts them in a range where we can Fury Cut a farm down before they're able to throw any energy. We are going to lose CMP, and this is actually going to get Drapion to dump some of its energy. Not many run Sludge Bomb. We're always going to no-shield the first move. They've already got Crunch and Aqua Tail. Even a Sludge Bomb would be survivable. Not well. But we've also got a catch opportunity too. We send out Zweilous. If they've got Sludge Bomb, so be it. Let's see what they throw. Opponent throws the Crunch. We withstand the damage. At this point, they're likely going to go straight Aqua Tail. But unfortunately for them, Zweilous now only takes 9 turns to these Body Slams, meaning we can one and throw the first Body Slam. We're going to be able to outpace to the second Body Slam, and Zweilous is going to carry us home. And in this battle, it looks like Shadow Zweilous 1, regular Zweilous 0. GG's, and thanks for playing. You can see with a huge amount of lag, another opponent has force closed the app. And I'm wondering, as you have to complete the battle to get your battle pass rewards, if you force close the app, does it count or not? I personally never rage quit, so I don't know. If you know, post it down below. In the next battle, we see another Claydol in the lead position. Out comes Guzzlord. Dazzling Gleam, double super effective, but again I stay true to myself, full send it, and unfortunately of course it bounced off the Protect Shield. Whilst I do think that's an easy bait opportunity, if the opponent for some reason are a mad lad and call the bait, if I foul play bait, you know it's getting called. I'm in kind of a tricky spot. We need to obtain some kind of advantage in the mid game matchup. This Guzzlord is still very healthy, They throw the crunch, but then give up switch, and that definitely gives me a chance back in this battle. We send out Zweilous for 2-1 shield advantage, of course. We're going to get debuffed or not. They actually send a Scorching Sands, which is definitely better for me, meaning we aren't debuffed. So if they send out Guzzlord, my Dragon Breaths are still going to be at full health. Dark Pulse picks up the knockout. What is that third? Back out comes Guzzlord. Guzzlord going to get chipped with the Body Slam. We then pivot into Matang. They stay in, concede the farm down. Mandabuzz. We're very low, but with a lot of energy. Gyro Ball, force the Protect Shield. We're able to reach one further Gyro Ball. Gyro Ball isn't going to put them into Body Slam range. However, potentially a few more Fury Cutters and the double resisted Side Shock might. The opponent looking for the full resisted air slash farm down. I remember this game vividly. So here they're going to be one air slash, aka 3 Dragon Breaths off the next move. So what I should do is throw 3. I throw 2, which would be good timing, but of course it would be CMP. You're going to see the left on fractional HP. Is that 1 Dragon Breath range? Probably not. However, you always want to play optimally, which I didn't do there. I should have thrown the additional Dragon Breath. Probably would have knocked out, but would have made the game somewhat closer. Heading into the next battle, we see the Matang Mirror. It looks like the regular Matang, to be honest. It's super hard to tell as my shadow animation is taking up the entire screen. There you go. They are the regular. So in this matchup, of course, you want to throw Gyro Ball, single resisted as opposed to double resisted Side Shot. The opponent opt to catch out. That Gyro Ball certainly puts in a range where I just need to throw a Body Slam to move this Moltres from the field of play. We do exactly that. Body Slam goes unshielded. Down goes Moltres. Out comes Annihilate. We're only reaching 1 move and we are full send in. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. They near get 1 shot. Zweilous able to Dragon Breath farm down, and Zweilous is completely running through this opponent's team. The opponent doesn't want the smoke and they concede the match. Heading into the next battle, we see yet another Claydol in the lead position, but to be honest, Claydol leads haven't been all that bad for this team. So we've got 2 answers in the back. We save switch into Sableye, and once again out comes Moltres. So which basic content creator put out Claydol plus Moltres of this core is so common. Again, we're able to obtain a shield advantage in the mid-game matchup, and usually that's put me in a good position in the end game. We've seen this scenario play out a few times. We're going to send out Matang. If they've got payback, so be it. Most don't carry it. Is this the one opponent that's going to payback me to the face? It's just a fly. The opponent then tries to catch onto Claydol. We bank our energy, and Zweilous hits the field of play with that magical 2-1 shield advantage. We're going to shield up the Rock Tomb. Look to overfarm, fire off the Dark Pulse, either knocking out or forcing the final Protect Shield ball in the opponent's court. Dark Pulse removes Claydol from the field of play. We see a double dark flying strategy with the very squishy Murkrow on the back. We fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. That banked energy gonna come in clutch. Gyro Ball picks up the 1-hit KO. I'm so sorry, Murkrow. You're my favourite buddy, but unfortunately for you, this one is going to be heartbreaking defeat. Zweilous re-enters the arena, fires off the Body Slam, and we end the video with a big fat dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's Shoutcast. I was very impressed with Zweilous. Often when I use a new Shadow Pokemon or something I haven't used before, kind of takes me a while to get used to it, and usually it involves quite a lot of negative games, but 21-9 overall, I was very, very impressed and think it's spammy, hits hard, reasonably bulky, and definitely something you can consider building yourself. I think in stuff like Halloween Cup, that is going to come later, either this season or next season. It'll be another top meta threat. The team in general I think is really good. Matang, I don't know why so many other content creators give it stick. I think you saw today just how good it is if you play super aggressively, jumping in and out of matchups, and Sableye, a Pokemon I've used for so many seasons. I think I built this way back in Season 9. It needs no introduction. It is just a spammy, very good save switch. So enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below, and as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.